Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing the book, The Four Agreements, and how this relates to a herpes diagnosis, how we can apply these principles to break free from toxic conditioning and actually live authentically. So, why a herpes diagnosis feels so heavy? Essentially, society has taught us false agreements about STIs. Having herpes means that you're dirty, or nobody will love you now, or you're a burden to your future partner. Now, these beliefs aren't facts, okay? They are learned shame. Unfortunately, they're pretty severe. And the real pain after a diagnosis isn't physical, it's mental conditioning. I like to say that herpes isn't even a health condition, it's a mental health disorder. And the solution here is breaking those old agreements, the ones that were deeply ingrained in us, and replacing them with more empowering ones. So the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. And the core idea around this one is that your words are like spells. They essentially create your reality, good or bad. And the key here is to stop reinforcing shame, self-hate, undesirability through our words. We might think like herpes equals dirty, and we just go along with this, not knowing that it's actually like part of our demise. So if you call yourself disgusting, you'll feel disgusting. Whether or not it's valid or not, that's up to you. If you say you're unworthy of love, you'll avoid relationships, you'll self-sabotage, you'll make sure that you are in line with that belief. Your brain believes what you tell it, so you can just tell it something better. How do you do that though? Eliminate all the self-shame talk today. You may have done it yesterday, but today you can acknowledge it and make some changes. So replace all those beliefs like I'm ruined with I'm still whole, or nobody will date me, to I'm sure someone would date me, or I have nothing to offer, to I have all of these things, I'm still the same person. Okay? Correct all the misinformation that you may have. So you are not alone. Billions have herpes, or like you're going to pass herpes to everybody. No, herpes is quite manageable and the risk is quite small. And use affirmations daily that are going to build self-worth. So I'm still lovable. My diagnosis doesn't define me. It's just a common condition, not a character flaw. Or if anything, look into the concept of slides from reality transurfing, or a positive self-image from psycho-cybernetics. Start imagining the version of you that is thriving with their diagnosis and act as if that person is you today. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. It's 2025. That's impossible. But the core idea here is that when someone reacts negatively to your diagnosis, they are reacting from their own fear, biases, lack of knowledge. Like I said before, they're like reacting to the pendulum of herpes stigma, not necessarily you. And that comes from you detaching from the stigma. Therefore, you no longer give it energy. And if others give the herpes stigma energy, that's on them. It is not a reflection of your worth. So how this relates to herpes is that if a partner rejects you, they were never the right person anyways. You don't have to settle. People out there who are going to value you for you are going to have no problem with learning more about herpes and managing the risks. So society has misconceptions about herpes. Doesn't make you unworthy, it just makes you more aware and more knowledgeable than the average person. The only way herpes can define you is if you let it. Ask yourself today what meaning you put onto your herpes status and try to reduce that so it's the most neutral or least significant part of your life. So how do you actually apply this? Stop seeking approval, okay? You don't need everyone to accept you, just the right people, and you cannot outsource your sense of acceptance or self-worth onto someone else. You need to be okay with yourself first so that other people's reactions can't change how you feel about yourself. Recognize projections. If someone judges you, it's a reflection of their mindset, not your value. And then detach your self-worth from other people's opinions so that nothing they ever say can change how you feel about yourself. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. Very, very important here is most of your anxiety after a herpes diagnosis comes from assumptions and not facts. So things like, if I tell this guy, he's going to run. How do you know? My first disclosure was successful. Or people will think I'm gross. Are you sure? Do you think you're gross? And then again, even if you don't think you're gross and someone thinks you're gross, do you then become gross? The world is going to mirror what you put out. So if you feel gross, all you're going to do is attract situations like that. But if you're confident, if this doesn't define you, people are going to see that. And nobody will want me. Do you have proof? Do you truly believe that you're the single most undesirable person on planet Earth that's going to have no success with dating? If you do, congratulations. But you will find people who like you for you. And how to actually apply this is, instead of assuming rejection, give people a chance. Instead of assuming herpes ruins your dating life, try dating and communicate directly. Okay? If you're unsure how someone feels, just ask them. So the way to actually practically apply this is, don't self-sabotage. Don't ghost your partners. Don't run away from a dating scenario because you want to control the outcome. You never know what's going to happen when you actually try. And the more time you spend avoiding dating disclosure, the more it's going to seem like the biggest deal ever, the more pressure is going to build up, and the more it's going to dawn on you that this is extremely difficult, when in reality, taking action minimizes that. And the fourth agreement is, always do your best. So healing your mindset takes time. Okay, some days are going to be easy, some days are going to be heavy, but the goal is to keep moving forward. And eventually you'll have much more good days than bad days. You don't have to be confident overnight. You don't have to date immediately or disclose perfectly. You just have to take small steps and keep growing. Okay? And all you have to do when it comes to dating, show up, be your authentic self, disclose, and the right people who like you for you are going to see that. And you get to filter out people who are not worthy of your time. So you can apply this by forgiving yourself for struggling. We all go through it. I went through it. Everything you feel right now is totally normal. Take some small steps towards confidence. So, shifting those mindsets, self-care, go back to the gym, go see your friends, go socialize, take care of yourself so you feel good about yourself. And then practice disclosure, go in front of the mirror, get comfortable saying the H word out loud, practice making it into a mutual conversation about sexual health, and keep showing up even on bad days. Whenever you have a bad day, reach out to me, reach out to a community. I have a group in the description box if you want to join, and realize that in due time, if you put forth efforts towards thriving post-diagnosis instead of letting this derail you, you're going to have success. So putting all of these 4 agreements together, if you're impeccable with your word, you're no longer going to call yourself damaged. You're going to have empowering beliefs that are good for you. Don't take anything personally, so rejection doesn't define you. People's opinions do not define you. You are whole. You are worthy of love. What people say does not matter. Don't assume the worst. Give people a chance. You never know what someone is going to say. You might be pleasantly surprised that your first disclosure is successful, or you might be surprised they have it too. And always do your best, okay? Focus on progress, not perfection. You'll find that if you try to have the most perfect disclosure, or you feel like you have to be perfect before you start dating, you're never going to get there. Just take action, focus on progress. Action is always going to be better than paralysis by analysis. Together, these agreements are going to help you reclaim your confidence. As an action step for you guys, which agreement do you need to focus on the most? Leave a comment below if you want some help with your diagnosis, getting rid of shame, making disclosure effortless, attracting a loving partner. I have a group coaching program and a one-to-one coaching program. The description box has more details. I'll see you guys in the next video.